this time, we ask that if you're physically able, that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. This evening's first pitch is sponsored by Florida Orthopedic Associates, the official team physician of your Stetson Hatters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Game 6 of the 2022 season for Stetson Hatters baseball. Jonathan Gonzalez on the bump for the Hatters as Steve Trimper's Bog Club rocking the green tops and the white pants tonight, hoping to get the record back to 500 and avenge last night's loss to the Lions of Columbia University. Thank you for joining us here on Hatter Vision. I'm Assad Bendian. We'll be bringing you this game and, of course, tomorrow's rubber match against Columbia. Well, maybe a rubber match if Stetson can get the win tonight, but that will remain to be seen, of course. Just a quick note for all of you who are viewing our stream tonight. We do not have a camera operator, so the view that you're seeing is going to be what we're going to be sticking with for the night. So I'll be a little bit more conscious of that and try to describe more of the things that normally we're able to focus on as the night goes along. We'll go to the starting lineups for both squads momentarily. Right now, though, it'll be Jonathan Gonzalez facing off against one of two lefties in the lineup for Brett Beretti's Lions, Tyler McGregor, the senior first baseman. He had a heck of an opening night. 2 for 5, couple of runs, had a 2-run homer, also had a triple. First pitch to him is a ball, 1-0. Jonathan Gonzalez making his second start of the year. Also took the mound for the Hatters in their Saturday loss to Notre Dame. Jonathan pitching pretty well in that game, even though the Hatters ultimately took the L in that. Count now 1-1 for McGregor. Columbia in their dark tops and white pants with the light blue piping down the sides. Gonzalez gets ahead here 1-2. Lots of changes to the Hatter lineup tonight, especially in the batting order. Plenty of new faces, though, compared to last night. The 1-2 is bounced off the plate. That will stay fair. Bullard applies the tag to McGregor, and that is one out on the board. And you just saw one of the changes right there. Jacob Bullard, the starting first baseman, back in the lineup tonight for Steve Trimper. Another regular also back, Christian Pregent behind the plate. Around the horn for the Hatters, Banks Griffith at second. Camden Traficante with his first start of the year at short. He's replacing Kyle Ball, who is taking the night. Johan Desero at third base. In the outfield, it is Cam Hill, the senior, in center field. Anthony DeFabia back in left for the second night in a row as Nick DePonzio is still dealing with some injury issues. And Juan Correa, who DH'd last night, getting his first start at right field. Count now 0-2 on Andy Blake, the junior from Hopewell Township, New Jersey, who got off to a real flyer in last night's game. First at bat, smacked a solo homer over the left field wall. That won't happen tonight. He's down looking on 3 straight.
Batting third, the left fielder, number 26, Cole Hayes.
And now it's Cole Hayes, the sophomore left fielder. The only real change to the lineup tonight for Brett Beretti. Hayes did not play at all last night in the Lions' 8-3 win over the Hatters, getting his first crack with the bat to start the 2022 season. 1-0 the count now on him. Columbia, of course, getting their season started this weekend. The Ivy League in general is doing the same this weekend. Some interesting results, actually, for the Ancient Eight this weekend. Harvard scoring an 11-6 win over 24th-ranked Miami on their opening night. The 1-1 from Gonzalez's high, 2-1. Penn also defeating Texas A&M 2-1 last night. Everyone else in the Ivy lost. It's not been a particularly good weekend for Cornell, especially. They've been getting drilled. Count now 2-2. Virginia taking down Cornell 24-9 last night. And Cole Hayes goes down looking. So 1, 2, 3 for Jonathan Gonzalez, including 2 punch-outs. Hats grab the bats for the first time when we come back. You're watching Hatter Vision. Bottom of the first. Cam Hill will lead us off for the Stetson Hatters as they look to grab the lead tonight and for the first time all weekend against Columbia. Lions led throughout in last night's 8-3 win for them. First pitch from J.D. Ogden is inside on Cam Hill, 1-0. Fair amount of changes to the lineup card for Stetson. We'll go through those momentarily. 3 new faces in the lineup, actually, as Ogden fires low, 2-0. Cam Hill staying the same, though, leading off and playing center. Johan Desereau Moving up a spot, he's batting second, the freshman third baseman. Jacob Bullard in the 3 spot as he resumes his starting position at first. Big cut there from Hill. Makes it 2-1. Daniel Labrador, not behind the plate, but in the lineup as the DH. He's batting cleanup. He's been hot so far in this weekend series. Juan Correa moving up from 7 to 5 in the batting order. The right fielder. He was last night's DH. Anthony DeFabia in left field, now batting 6th. He was 8th last night. Banks Griffith, now back in the lineup at second base. He's batting 7th. Christian Pregent, the catcher, batting 8th. Camden Traficante, the shortstop, rounding out the order. And that one, a dribbler right to the mound. Ogden gathers a throw to first. It's not in time. No! According to the first base ump, Hill is out. And Steve Tripper sprinting across the diamond to argue this. And he should, frankly. I thought Hill beat it. Pretty cleanly, too, I might add. This has been an issue this season for Stetson. Hill, in particular, has seen a couple of times where he's been very close to beating out grounders to first, and he's been rung up almost every time when that's happened. And I think that's part of the frustration you're seeing here with Trimper as him and Andy Schultz, the first base ump, are having an animated discussion. And Steve Trimper is not happy about it as he walks back to third. The third base coach's box, that is. So, somewhat controversially, I say, Cam Hill grounds out to the pitcher on that 2-2 pitch, and it is 1 out on the board here for Johan Desero. The freshman, first pitch swinging, fouls out to the backstop netting. We'll set Columbia defensively momentarily as Desero swings through that one. Count now 0-2. And Ogden dirts it there. J.D. Ogden getting his first start of the year, the lefty sophomore from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Expected to be Columbia's Saturday starter this season. 6'5", 200 is how he stands. And the 1-2 is a high popper in the center. Relatively short, though. It'll be Josh Solomon, the center fielder, who makes the grab.
Batting third, the first baseman, number 23, Jacob Bullard.
And that'll bring up Jake Bullard. Defensively, here's how Columbia is. Weston Eberle, the catcher. Tyler McGregor at first. Griffin Palfrey, the freshman, at second. Jacob Phelps, the senior, at short. Anton Lazitz, the freshman, at third. So the infield exactly the same as last night. Joshua Solomon in center field, also the same as last night. Cole Haig in left field, the new addition. Hayden Schott is your right fielder, also the same as last night. Jake Bullard, after a couple games missed due to stomach bug issues that have been going through the Stetson locker room, did finally return to action last night, albeit briefly. He had a pinch hit. A double, actually. But now down here 0-2. And Ogden fires outside. That misses. Bullard, a guy who walked on with the Hatters last season. Perhaps their most improved guy between last year and this year. He was really an afterthought last season. Only had one at bat, and that was a strikeout. Bullard with a nice eye there. 2-2 to count. Speaking with Coach Trimper before the season began, Bullard, he said, a guy who basically was not really expected to be a regular and just straight up won the job in practice. 2-2. That one hit hard. Tailing away from the right fielder. Shot in foul territory. What a grab. Side retired. Hayden Schott. Got a little dirt on his pants already early in this game, but gets the job done. Hatters also down 1-2-3 like the Lions. Top of the second coming up. We're scoreless. You're watching Hatter Vision. Four, 5, and 6 here for Columbia, as we are still scoreless. Top of the second here in Melching Field. Columbia scoring the win last night. Stetson looking to even the weekend series ahead of the game tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Hatters wrapping up a 7-game homestand to start the year. And they'll have a 15-game homestand after the road tilt against UCF on Wednesday. Count now to Solomon 1-1. The senior from Mission Viejo, California, one of 10 from California on this Lions roster, I should say. Big cut from Solomon. Count now 1-2. You might be surprised to hear, considering Columbia's from New York City, that California actually makes up a good chunk of their roster as Solomon goes down swinging for strike 3. The 1-2 pitch does the job.
Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 22, Hayden Schott.
As Jonathan Gonzalez has now punched out 3 Lions in the first 4 at-bats. Hayden Schott will step in. Right fielder, lefty, holds the bat on that one, 0-1. You might assume, of course, Columbia being a Northeast school, that they would be a mostly Northeast type of ball club in terms of their players. And you're right, for the most part, but California, one of the big exceptions. That one hit the second. Banks Griffith is there.
Batting sixth, the catcher, number 38, Weston Everly.
And with 2 outs on the board, it's Weston Eberly, the junior catcher, who now steps up to the plate. Eberly didn't have a particularly good opening night. He was 1 for 5, but that one was a big one. His first career triple, it being the RBI variety, as Columbia plated 3 runs in that inning and never looked back. Really, Columbia had to lead from the jump, and Stetson got close at times, but that 7th inning allowed the Lions to really pull away. Strike call there makes it 2-1 now on Eberly. Jonathan Gonzalez has retired 5 Lions in a row. That one hit towards short. Camden Traficante's there. Make it 6 in a row for Jonathan Gonzalez. 4 punch-outs. Excuse me, 3 punch-outs through the first 2 innings here for the lefty. Teammates greeting him as he heads back to the dugout. Bottom of the second coming up. You're watching Hatter Vision. Part of the order here for Stetson as we resume play. Bottom two, it's Daniel Labrador, the DH, who will lead us off. Juan Correa in right, Anthony DeFabia in left. Thanks for joining us on Hatter Vision via YouTube. I'm Assad Bendian. J.D. Ogden will fire us. Fastball inside. 1-0 to count now on Labrador. Just a couple of programming notes for you. As that one is way high. Weston Everly not able to corral it, 2-0. We do not have a cameraman working tonight, so the camera view you're seeing is what it is. Because I'm good, folks. At least I think I am, but since there is no technology available to clone me, well, we don't have anybody to work the camera, and I can't do both. So the 2-0 is high. 3-0 to count now on Labrador. And also, just in case you missed my explanation last night, we will not be airing the field mic in between innings. That will be standard practice for the Hatter Vision broadcast moving forward, as Ogden gets the strike call there, 3-1 the count. And in case you're wondering why that is, it's because we're trying to avoid copyright issues with YouTube when the Hatter Vision games are replayed on their channel. 3-1. And that's high for ball four.
That is it, the right fielder, number 24, Juan Correa.
That is the first free pass for either side in this game. Labrador also becomes the first to reach for either team. And that brings up Juan Correa. Learning some new things tonight is the young freshman from Weston. DH last night, he's in right field tonight. Big cut there. 0-1. Coach Trimper telling me before tonight's game that Correa, who is listed on the roster as an infielder, not as an outfielder, but he has seen some time at right field in practice, so not entirely unfamiliar with the position. The 0-1 is hit hard towards short. The flip to second for one. The turn is high, but McGregor pulls it down for the 6-4-3. Nice hops right there from the senior first baseman. And that is the first double play turn for either side in this one. And with 2 outs now, it's Anthony DeFabia who steps in. DeFabia, he's one of the Hatters who does not like to use batting gloves at the plate. There's a few of them who are like that. Daniel Labrador as well. DeFabia, a sophomore from Bronxville, New York, has baseball in the blood. The 0-1 is low, 1-1 the count. His dad and an uncle, both all-decade players for Fairleigh Dickinson back in the 90s. He also likes to play the drums. The 1-1. Now one hit hard. High popper into center. Very shallow. It'll actually be the shortstop, though. Jacob Phelps, who snatches it for the third and final out. So, despite allowing the walk, J.D. Ogden is still facing the minimum. This game moving quickly to begin. We're top third right now, still scoreless on Hatter Vision.
Lazards.
7, 8, 9 here for Brett Beretti and his Columbia Lions. Anton Lazitz, Griffin Palfrey, Jacob Phelps all due up. Jonathan Gonzalez has motored through the Lions lineup so far. 6 up and 6 down. 3 Ks along the way, 2 looking. Lazitz, hard hit. And that is Columbia's first of the game and the first for either side, actually. Lazitz turning nicely on that 0-1 fastball. Speaking to Coach Trimper prior to the game, he said the main takeaway he had from Columbia last night was that they are a very good fastball hitting team. So he's looking for his Hatters to mix up the pitches a lot better. That's something Jonathan Gonzalez is quite good at. As Griffin Palfrey fouls that over Hatter Hill, 0-1. It may not look like it considering that the Hatters gave up 8 runs last night, but Hatters starter Danny Garcia was actually quite effective against the Lions. His 11 punch-outs a career high. He ended up taking the loss, though. Throw over to first. Austin Amaral coming in after Garcia. Many of the runs were eventually put on his plate. Only pitched a third of an inning, gave up 3 runs, all earned on 4 hits. And that was that later part of the game where Columbia really took control and held on from there. Palfrey last night was 1 for 3 with an RBI. 3 Lions actually had 2 hits in the game last night. We mentioned McGregor, Hayden Schott, and Anton Lazitz, the others. And the Hatter faithful wanted that inside pitch called. They didn't get it. Anton Lazitz, 5'11", 175 is how he stands, from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. That one hit towards second. Right to Banks Griffith.
And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 21, Jacob Phelps.
So Palfrey retired on the line out to second. And that brings up Jacob Phelps. That one hit hard into left center for a base hit. Lazitz will hold up at second. Phelps wasting no time and getting Columbia's second hit of this game.
Returning to the top of the order for the first baseman, Tyler McGregor.
First pitch single there. And it puts 2 on board for Columbia's leadoff hitter Tyler McGregor. McGregor's only one of 2 lefties in the lineup. Hayden Schott the other for the Lions. Very right-handed heavy lineup otherwise. That's a bouncer right towards first, and McGregor again retired. 3 unassisted to the bag.
Now batting the designated hitter.
But it does move up Lazitz and Phelps. Now both runners in scoring position for Andy Blake. Blake was Jonathan Gonzalez's first K victim tonight. He's got 3 so far. Blake was also the guy who scored Columbia's first run of the year. Solo bomb to left field in the very first inning last night. That homer from Blake, by the way, just his second career home run at the college level, of course, is what I meant. Or Columbia, to be more specific. Jonathan Gonzalez, long look at the plate here. Pregent given the signs, sets up outside. The 1-0 is hitting the right field. Backing up is Correa near the track. Makes the grab at the track. So Juan Correa does well in his first put out at right field, and we head to the bottom of the third. We are scoreless still. You're watching Hatter Vision. Bottom of the lineup card for Steve Trimper and his Hatters, as J.D. Ogden has faced the minimum so far. Banks Griffith, Christian Pregent, Camden Traficante, all due up for the green and white. Griffith getting his first start of the weekend. Traficante actually started for him at second base last night. Griffith, of course, has been the primary second baseman for the Hatters this season. Count now 2-0. Ogden firing high there, 3-0. Griffith with a 154 batting average. Only has 2 hits on the season in 13 at-bats. Keeps the bat on his shoulder there, 3-1. Coach Trimper telling me prior to the game that overall he feels like this Hatters team is kind of at a C- right now in the way they're playing. Hoping for a lot better than that, obviously, as Griffith fouls that away. Count now full. That's one of the biggest reasons you're seeing so many different names in the lineup card tonight compared to last night, as Coach Trimper tries to find the magic sauce, so to speak. Your payoff, way high.
Batting eighth, the catcher, number 34, Christian Pregent.
And that'll bring up Christian Pregent. Pregent did not play last night, nor in the game against Florida. Behind the plate, Daniel Labrador getting the start in both of those. Pregent, been one of many Hatters who've been dealing with a stomach bug issue this weekend. That's another reason why you're seeing a lot of different faces in there. First pitch, the Pregent's hit hard in the right field, shot backing up, makes the catch right in front of the track.
Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 3, Camden Traficante.
So Griffith Draws the walk on a full count. Pregent pops out to right on the very first pitch he sees. And Camden Traficante with fabulous walk-up music, if I do say so. It's always fun figuring out all the new walk-up songs that the players choose. And that's in for the strike, 0-1. I think my personal favorite so far this year that I've heard has got to be Tanner Martin's, the presumptive Stetson closer. He comes in with Aerosmith's Back in the Saddle. Very appropriate, I would say, for a pitcher, especially a reliever. But I would put Traficante's as definitely top 3 on my list so far. I'm a big fan of Western themes. Love that type of stuff. And even though you won't really hear Western themes too much at Melching Field from the music makers here, every once in a while, they'll throw in something like A Gringo Like Me or something like that. Traficante last night, 0 for 2 before he was lifted for a pinch hitter. Now facing an 0-2 count. He is the first shortstop to start for Stetson this year not named Kyle Ball. As a matter of fact, Kyle Ball, very much a regular in Stetson's lineup for quite a while, is getting the day off, or the night off, probably better said, the 0-2. Nice job there from Eberle to make sure that didn't get away and go all the way to the backstop, 1-2. Kyle Ball, before tonight, has started 109 straight games for the Hatters. He's played in 120 straight, and that's still possible if he comes in as a replacement somehow. Last time he's missed a game was in 2019, as Traficante fouls that away, well over Hatter Hill. That was against Georgetown, March 2nd of 2019. So we'll see how this game goes. It wouldn't totally surprise me if Ball comes in as a pinch hitter. Just kind of depends on the situation. But Ball has, without question, had a very rough start to the year. 1 for 16 at the plate. Throw over to first. And also somewhat uncharacteristically for Ball, he's had trouble in the field, too. Normally a very sure-handed defender. He's had 3 errors already. He had 2 last night in the loss to Columbia, both of which were costly. 1-2. And that's low. J.D. Ogden with another long look at first. 2-2. Traficante goes oppo, but right into the glove of Hayden Schott.
To the top of the order for the center fielder, Cameron Hill.
So with 2 outs on the board, it's Cam Hill. Top of the lineup card once again. Ogden, by the way, a guy with a lot of athleticism in the blood. His grandpa ran track at Harvard. His dad played baseball at Richmond. And that one's smoked by Hill. Shane Opitz, the first base coach for Stetson, having to move out of the way of that one. Ogden also had a grandma who ran cross country at Cornell. So not only athletic in the blood, but obviously a lot of Ivy League connections. He, of course, opting to go to Columbia in New York City, which, for my money, has one of the cooler campuses across the country. Throw over to first. I got to visit Columbia, actually, when I was in high school for a, I think it was a journalism conference, if my memory serves. It was my senior year. The 0-1, that's in the dirt. Eberle doing a nice job keeping that in front of him, but Bates Griffith able to take advantage. He moves up 90. And they're going to say a wild pitch there is what allows Griffith to move up. So with 2 outs here, Hatters with a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight. Cam Hill looking for some two-out magic. Lays off that one. Count now 2-1. I think the one thing that kind of impressed me the most about Columbia when I visited was how old everything seemed to be. But in a cool way, not like in a dingy way. I guess that's to be expected with a school that was founded, around the time the country was founded. Actually, probably earlier than that. I know many of the Ivy Leagues were actually founded before there was a United States. As was the case with Columbia, actually, 1754. So, there you go. Three and one the count here on Hill. Nothing too exotic from Columbia defensively here as Ogden delivers. And we're going to see a payoff. Cam Hill is 0 for 1 tonight, grounding out to the pitcher. Called out at first, somewhat controversially. Steve Trimper arguing the call, but for naught, as Hill takes some time off here and steps back in. We do not have replays available at Melching Field when ESPN Plus is not broadcasting the game. They're the ones who actually do the replay for the umps, so that's the reason. Hatter Vision games, there is no replay. Here's your payoff. Ball 4. Cam Hill tossing the bat as Ogden allows his third walk in this game. And with runners at the corners, it's Johan Dessereau who steps in. Stetson still looking for their first hit this evening. Ogden has given up free passes to Labrador, Griffith, and now Cam Hill. Dessereau popped out the center in the first inning on a 1-2 count. Runners at first and second as that one almost got away from Everly, and that throw to second does get away from Jacob Phelps, the shortstop, but Hatters not able to take advantage. They could not move up. Everly kind of caught Banks Griffith off the bag a little bit. A better throw may very well have gotten Griffin, but it didn't work out that way. 1-0, and Dessereau up the middle, gathered by the shortstop. No, it hit off the bag and bounces into center. Griffith rounding third, he's coming home. The throw to third, gets away from the third baseman. Hill takes advantage, he slides in head first. And the Hatters are up 2-0. Fortunate break for Stetson there, as Dessereau's shot hit off the bag at second. Otherwise, Phelps probably makes the play, but that deflection was enough to send it careening in the center. So that will be a single for Dessereau and an RBI at least, as Griffith scored from second. Hill hustling the third, and the throw to third was offline. That allowed Hill to score. I imagine that will not be an RBI for Dessereau, though. We're still waiting for the official ruling on that. But in the meantime, while the scorers work that out, it's Jacob Bullard who steps back in. He is 0 for 1 tonight. Pop out to right field to end the first. Dessereau now standing at second. And it will be only one RBI for Dessereau. And they're going to rule an error on the center fielder on the throw. And that's what allowed Hill to score. So that is Columbia's first error of the season. Ogden looking at second. Still looking, now comes and gets the strike call. So Stetson, for the first time all weekend, has themselves a lead. Columbia led wire to wire in the win last night for them. Their first win of the season on opening night for them. Their first win since March of 2020. The 2-1 is smacked by Bullard, foul over Hatter Hill. And some of the kiddies are going to be scrambling to get that one, 2-2. Columbia, of course, did not play last season. None of the Ivies did. The only conference that was shut down in 21 due to COVID, while most of college baseball was doing its thing, they had to sit at home. The 2-2. And that's hit right to Ogden, though. Snagged it. Underhand throw to first, gets Bullard. And the side's retired. But the Hatters managed to dent the scoreboard first. Johan Desero with an RBI single. A throwing error from Joshua Solomon in center field, allowing Cam Hill to hustle home from third. And we head to the top of the fourth with the Hatters up 2. You're watching Hatter Vision. Three, 4, and 5 here for Columbia. One of the top squads usually in the Ivy League. Preseason poll, kind to them. Picked second in the Ivy, only Harvard ahead of them. As Jonathan Gonzalez fires. Breaking pitch outside, 1-0. Cole Haig, the left fielder, is at the plate. Getting his first action in 2022. He did not play last night. Rips that foul down the third base line. Haig, a sophomore from Fargo, North Dakota. He's the only one from the state on the roster for Columbia. 6'3", 228 is how he stands. Waves through that pitch and loses his dome in the process. 1-2. This Lions roster, a lot of representation across the U.S. as Haig hits that towards the hole. It's short. Traficante with a dive. He'll eat the ball. As Haig gets his first single of the year. Excellent job from Traficante to even stop that ball from going into the outfield, but laying out like that, that's going to be tough to get anybody at first with speed, especially an outfielder. Joshua Solomon will step in. He K'd his last time out, swinging on a 1-2 count. As Jonathan Gonzalez tries to have this inning be a little bit more like the first two and a lot less like the last one. Count now 0-1 on Solomon. Gonzalez set the Lions down in order in the first 2 innings. Ran into a bit of trouble in the third. 5 batters coming up. Eventually with runners at second and third before he got out of it. Throw over to first. Jacob Bullard holding Haig onto the bag. Columbia has players from 15 different states on this roster. California has the most with 10. Massachusetts second with 5. New Jersey and Florida with 4 each. Another throw over to first from Gonzalez. There's even a bit of international flavor on this Lions roster. They got one player from Canada and another from Singapore. Hatters not doing anything too crazy defensively. Runner going from first as Solomon fouls that away over the first base stance. Hatters up 2-0 over Columbia. Columbia does lead in the H column 3-1. They also lead in the error column 1-0. Throwing error from Joshua Solomon in the last inning that allowed Cam Hill to score from third. So Solomon trying to make up for it here. Entering tonight with a 200 batting average. He was 1 for 5 with a run score in last night's win. And Jonathan Gonzalez way high there. 1-2. Jonathan Gonzalez from Miami, 5'11", 180 lefty. One half of the Gonzalez brothers on the Stetson roster. His older brother, Chris, has been a very productive pitcher for the most part in his time here at Stetson. Although Chris hasn't been really used a whole lot this year. Throw over to first. Chris did have one appearance as a reliever, going in a third of an inning in the 6-4 victory over Manhattan, which as of right now is Stetson's last win of the year. But Gonzalez did struggle noticeably with his command in that particular outing. Much more than we usually see him. And Solomon is down swinging. So give Jonathan Gonzalez 4 Ks as Hayden Schott, the right fielder, now steps in. Schott 2 for 4 with a pair of doubles. Also had an RBI in last night's game. First pitch, right between first and second. Gathered up by Correa. Runner going to third. The throw! Bit offline, but not a bad attempt for a guy who is not really listed as an outfielder on this Hatters roster. Cole Haig now all the way to third. On the second hit of the inning so far from Columbia. Runners at the corners here for Weston Eberle.
The catcher, Weston Eberle.
We mentioned about the 4 Florida players on this Columbia roster. Weston Eberle's one of them, the junior from Maitland. Was the primary catcher for the Lions in 2020, a season where they went 1-7 before COVID ruined everything. Gonzalez gets the strike. That year, Eberle batting .211, did have a homer and 3 RBIs. All of that coming in their 4-game series against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And Eberle looking at a ball there, 1-1. Some of the Hatter faithful objecting to Corey Gottsegen's call of that particular pitch. Gottsegen calling the balls and strikes tonight. He was the third base ump in last night's game. And the 1-1. And that time, Gottsegen's okay with Gonzalez's offering, 1-2. John Bennett, the home plate ump last night, is at third. Andy Schultz, who was first base last night, is also first base tonight. So, 1 out on the board here, as Columbia's 90 feet away from denting the scoreboard, and Eberle is going to dent the roof of the hitting pavilion with that foul ball. A double play does get Stetson out of this inning. The infield playing in the normal spots except for Jake Bullard. He's trying to hold shot on at first. The 1-2 is bounced towards third. That'll play to run. Desero charging the throw to first in time. So Everly trades the out for the run. He gets the RBI, and Columbia has cut the lead in half. It's 2-1. Haig coming from third to score on the play. Shot now at second as Anton Lazitz comes to the plate. Lazitz with a very good night last night. One of 3 Lions who had 2 hits. Pretty much everybody who started last night for Columbia got a hit. The one exception is Jacob Phelps. He was 0 for 3. Did have a run scored, though. The 1-0. Hit hard in the left field. DeFabia is there, though, right in front of the Dream Ride banner, makes the grab. And that'll do it for Columbia here in the top of the 4th. But the RBI from Weston Everly does put Columbia on the scoreboard. It's 2-1 Stetson, bottom of the 4th coming up on Hattervision. Daniel Labrador will lead us off again for Stetson. Bottom of the 4th here. Hatters trying to stretch their 2-1 lead. Juan Correa, Anthony DeFabia, due up behind Labrador, who's going with the Michael Jackson approach at the plate tonight. By that I mean 1 glove. Left hand with the glove, right hand, no glove. And Labrador quickly ahead in the count here, 2-0. Labrador walked in the second on a 3-1 count and then was raced on a 6-4-3 double play. The 2-0. And Ogden gets the strike call there, 2-1. Ogden fires high. And the count's now 3-1. Same count that Labrador walked on in the second, actually. Let's see if the sophomore lefty can avoid a similar fate. He does. Full count. Labrador, redshirt freshman from Miami, originally a commit to the Hurricanes, as he rips that down the line, and that looks like a two-bagger easy. Labrador hustling around first. Gathered up by Cole Hagan left field, and Labrador will stay at second.
Now batting, the right fielder, Juan Correa.
Labrador has been hot with the stick in this early part of the season. Not a lot of Hatters can say that. Entering tonight, he was 2 for 9, did have a double and a home run. You can now give him his second double on the season. Really, Labrador's only been a factor since the Tuesday game against Florida. He's been in the lineup all 3 games since, and has been hitting the ball well. Juan Correa now at the plate, 1-0 the count. He's another one who's impressed in limited time, getting his first start last night for the Hatters against Columbia. He went 2 for 4. He was the DH last night, tonight in right field. 1-0, and Correa lays off. Right field is actually a secondary position for Juan Correa. He's listed on the roster as an infielder and really a first baseman. Stands 6'5", 220, one of the taller players on this Hatters roster. But he has been practicing right field as a secondary position, so he's not completely unfamiliar with it. As Correa pops this up and out of play, the kiddies in Hatter Hill are going after that. Count now 2-1. Prior to the game, Coach Shrimper telling me that, he really wanted to get Correa in because he's been, in his words, having good at bats, and he certainly looked pretty solid in last night's game for Stetson. Let's see if that pays off here. Time called. This Hatters team has struggled for offense to begin the year. The most runs they've scored in any game was their last win against Manhattan, 6 runs there. Two 2-1, and Correa lays off. So 3-1 the count now on Correa, who hit into a 6-4-3 double play and is only at bat so far tonight. Labrador, fairly short lead at second, as Griffin Palfrey, the second baseman, tries to hold him on. Palfrey will back up, and Juan Correa draws the walk. That is the 4th pass now for J.D. Ogden. And here comes Anthony DeFabio, who was certainly one of the bright points for Stetson offensively last night. 3 for 4. Hit a 2 RBI double in the 7th inning that cut the score to 6-3. Stetson would come no closer, though, as we're going to see a conference on the mound, and I think a new reliever coming in for Ogden. Yep, I believe there will be a new pitcher. That'll do it for Ogden. New pitcher in the game, we'll let you know when we come back. Hatters leading 2-1. Runners at first and second. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. You're watching Hatter Vision. We resume action here with another sophomore on the mound for Columbia. Right-hander this time, number 9, Brandon Madrigal. DeFabia squaring the butt. Labrador getting back just in time. Quick tag applied there by Phelps, the shortstop, and he's having a chat with the third base ump, John Bennett. And looks like he won't be the only line having a chat. Brent Beretti, the head coach, also sprinting out there, as he thought Labrador was out. Certainly a close play. But it's Beretti who goes back to the dugout. A little miffed, much like Steve Trimper was in the first inning when Cam Hill was called out on that close play at first. 1-0 the count now on DeFabia, who's looking for his 4th hit this weekend. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Drops the butt nicely in front of the plate. Eberle gathers the throw to first. Retires DeFabia, but the bunt does its job. Runners moving up here for Banks Griffith. Griffith in this game has only been at the plate once. He drew a walk on a full count. Eventually scored the first run of the game for Stetson on Johan Desero's RBI single. And now Griffith trying to do what Desero did. Swings through the high stuff there, 0-1. Griffith still looking for his first RBI in this young season. And Madrigal missing high there, 1-1. Infield drawn in here for Columbia. And the 1-1 is hit off the end of Griffith's bat. So now he's looking at a 1-2 count. Griffith with 0 on his back, the redshirt junior from Gainesville, Georgia, transferring to Stetson after a couple of years at Furman. Paladins shutting down their baseball program, which saw a lot of players moving. Griffith actually was kind of a legacy at Furman. He had brothers who also played for the Paladins. One out on the board here. You've got Labrador at third and Correa at second. And Griffith lays off. 2-2. And the 2-2 is hit off the bat again, and it'll dribble foul weakly towards Steve Trimper at third. Hatters looking to stretch the lead. And Griffith goes down swinging.
The batting catcher, Christian Breachin.
Christian Pregent will now try to get those runs home. The sophomore catcher returning to the lineup tonight after missing the last 2 games. He's 0 for 1 with a pop out to right. Actually, on his very first pitch that he saw. That's a ball. That throw gets away from the second baseman, and that's going to allow Daniel Labrador to hustle home from third. So another gaff from Columbia makes it 3-1. I imagine that will be a throwing error on the catcher. Still waiting for the official ruling, but that's definitely going to be an E. It is indeed a throwing error on the catcher. Juan Correa not able to move on the play. Eberle was trying to catch Correa napping at second, and the line covering the bag just not able to gather the ball cleanly. It got away. And that allowed Labrador to hustle in. 1-0 is in the dirt. Pregent laying off of that. Christian enters tonight with a .250 batting average, 2 for 8 on the year, not including his pop out the right in this game, of course, so actually 2 for 9. Has been pretty decent getting on base, though, thanks to a couple of walks. He's on-base percentage actually at .400, entering tonight's game. Pregent, a guy that the Hatters really value a lot for his defense and how he calls a game. Time called here. Stetson, unlike a lot of college baseball programs, uses their catcher in a more traditional fashion, in that the catchers are actually the one who call the game and often set the defense on the field. At many college programs, you'll see the coaches do that now. Not at Stetson. The catchers do that still. The 2-0. Nice strike fired there by Madrigal. 2-1. We mentioned earlier about this Lions roster filled with California players. Madrigal is one of them from Moore Park. 6'2", 190 is how he stands. Getting his first action of the year. 2-1. And that hits Pregent in the back.
And now the shortstop, Camden Traficante.
And now it's Camden Traficante with a shot here to do a little 2-out damage. Hatters open the scoring in the bottom of the third with 2 runs. Columbia scratched one back in the top of this inning. Hatters scratched it right back here in the bottom, and they could do a lot more than that, potentially. Traficante getting his first start of the year at shortstop. The Volusia County native from Ormond Beach. Lets the high cheese go by, 1-0. Volusia County, in case you're wondering, since I know we have a lot of Line fans watching tonight, is where Stetson is located, right in DeLand, Florida. It's on the east coast of the state, not too far away from Daytona. The 1-0 is outside, 2-0 to count. As a matter of fact, if you were to leave Melching Field, grab US 17 to US 92, north on 17 and then east on 92, give it about 30 or so minutes, and you'll be watching the waves from the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, that depends on traffic, not to mention if any events are going on in Daytona. Daytona very much an events town. The 2-0. That's in for the strike. Certainly gorgeous weather since the season began. Tonight, no different. 74 degrees at first pitch. Wind out of the east-northeast at 11 miles an hour. Actually, quite a nice breeze. We have a little bit more of a breeze compared to last night. The 2-1. And that's high. So Traficante's pushed the count 3-1. Hatters looking to get their offense on track. Scoring runs this entire season has been a struggle for Stetson. The most they've scored in any one game is 6. And that came against Manhattan, their last victory nearly a week ago. The 3-1. And Traficante draws the walk.
Now the center fielder, Cameron Hill.
So that is the 5th free pass issued by Columbia pitching. The first for Madrigal. Correa now at third. Pregent now at second. And Traficante at first here as Stetson's leadoff hitter steps in. Cam Hill, one of two lefties actually in the lineup for Steve Trimper tonight. Johan Desero the other, he's on deck. Traficante's a switch hitter, the only switch on the roster for Stetson, so he's also batting lefty tonight. Now that Madrigal's in the game, of course. Madrigal being a righty. First pitch to Hill is high for a ball, 1-0. Cam Hill retiring by a ground out in the first, walked in the third, and eventually plated Stetson's second run of that inning on a throwing error from center field. The 1-0. Big cut from Hill. 1-1 the count. Cam Hill has certainly been one of Stetson's better bats in this early point of the season, entering tonight with a .286 batting average, 6 hits on the year, including a triple. He is still looking for RBI number 1, though. The 1-1. And that's in the dirt. Hatters up 2, looking to stretch the lead here with 2 outs on the board. And the 2-1 is waved at by Hill. Cam Hill with family in the stands tonight, including his mom flying in from Kentucky. That's where Hill is from, Georgetown to be precise. Played for the Kentucky Wildcats before deciding to come to Stetson for his senior year as Madrigal steps off the rubber. Hill, a very solid defensive player for the Wildcats. .247 batting average in his UK career, including 4 homers and 31 RBIs. Also not bad swiping bags. He had 23 in his time there from 2018 to 2021. Also pretty good at drawing hit by pitches. He had 16 of them. Of course, he's replacing a guy in center field this year who could probably teach master's classes on how to get hit by pitches. Andrew McNeil. The 2-2, and that's high. Payoff pitch. McNeil, of course, leaving Stetson, tied for first in hit by pitches with 48. Kind of surprising to me because I thought Mac for sure would beat the record before he left, but as it turns out, he didn't. The payoff, runners going, Hill fouls that off. And Hill tapping himself in the chest. I don't think he quite liked what he did there. He'll get another crack, though. You've got Correa at third. Pregent at second. Traficante on first. Bags full, and 2 outs on the board. Here's your payoff. Runner's going. And Hill hits that. Into center. Solomon on his horse. He doesn't get there. The ball drops. 1 run will score. Make it 2. As Pregent scores, followed by Traficante. And Cam Hill delivers in a big way. Juan Correa also scoring, so a bases clearing double for Cam Hill, and it's 6-1 Stetson. Well, Cam Hill didn't have an RBI in his Stetson career until that at bat. And I guess he figured since he waited so long to get the first, he might as well get the second and the third at the same time. So now that's 4 runs across the plate for Stetson in this inning. Johan Desero got the scoring started for Stetson with his RBI single last time up. That's in the dirt. That ball gets away, all the way towards the Stetson on-deck circle. And that is an easy 90 feet for Cam Hill there. That was a heck of an effort from Joshua Solomon in center. He almost got to that ball from Hill. And Hill moving up on a wild pitch, so that is now the second wild pitch for Columbia in this game. The 1-0, and Desero lays off. 2-0 for the Canadian now. RBI single last inning. That one plating Banks Griffith. Cam Hill would come in to score on a throwing error as the center fielder tried to get him at third. The 2-0. And Desero looks at that for a strike. And Desero hits that in the left center. That'll drop. Give him another RBI as Cam Hill trots home from third. And it is now 7-1 Stetson. And now the Hatters with 5 runs in this bottom of the fourth. That's the most they've put up in one inning this season. And Jake Bullard will try to add to the good feelings here for Hatter Nation as he steps in. He's 0 for 2 in this game. He's actually the only Hatter other than DeFabia who has yet to reach. Bullard back in the lineup. First pitch, Desero going, trying to steal the bag, and he is nailed. Eberle guns down Desero to end the inning, but Desero driving in an RBI. The big hit, though. Cam Hill with a bases-clearing double, bringing in 3. Labrador scoring on an error, and those are your 5 runs. Stetson up 7-1, top of the 5th, coming up on Hatter Vision. We're about halfway through this Saturday night tilt here at Melching Field. The Hatters getting their first real big inning of the year. Plating 5 to make the lead 7-1. First pitch to Palfrey, grounded to short. Camden Traficante makes it 1 pitch, 1 out. And now Jacob Phelps, the number 9 hitter in the Lions order, will step in. He singled in his only at bat so far. That coming in the third. First pitch, actually, is how he hit that single. He lays off the first pitch here for a ball. Jonathan Gonzalez fires. That one hit towards the right side. Desero trying to cut it off. It hit off his glove, though. Phelps will reach, and I suspect that will be an error. We'll wait for the official score, though. Desero trying to scoop it up off the ground. It hit off the very top of his glove, though, and sneaked right under the glove. So with Phelps reaching, we're back to the top of the order here. And Tyler McGregor. McGregor in this game, he's 0 for 2. And he's been retired the same way both times. Ground out to the first baseman. As Tyler swings through that. And the ruling on Phelps is an error on Desero, so Phelps denied his second hit in this contest. And Stetson getting their first error of the night. Oh, 1 count here for McGregor. He had himself a night last night for the Lions. The 0-1 is in for the strike 0-2. McGregor was 2 for 5 with a couple of hits. Those 2 hits were big ones, though. A triple to lead off an inning. He would eventually score. That coming in the 7th, and then 1 inning later, he hit a 2-run bomb that gave Columbia their final runs of the night. The 0-2. McGregor down swinging.
The batting designated hitter, Andy Blake.
So give Jonathan Gonzalez 5 Ks on the night now. And with 2 outs on the board, here comes Andy Blake. Like McGregor, also 0 for 2. Backward K in the first, popped out to right field to end the third. Jake Bullard trying to hold Phelps onto the bag. That ball hit towards the shortstop. Traficante with the backhand. Strong throw across the diamond. Side retired. Camden Traficante has certainly been very good defensively tonight for the Hatters in a critical spot. And as we now approach the 90-minute mark in this contest, it is the Hatters in command, 7-1. You're watching Hatter Vision. Very quick inning there for Columbia, as Stetson will now step back in, fresh off a 5-run outburst. First pitch, and Jake Bullard starts us the right way for the Hatter Nation. That's his first hit of the night. Bottom 5. Stetson, 7 runs on 5 hits, 1 error. Columbia, 1 run on 4 hits, and 2 errors. Thank you for spending your Saturday night with us here on Hatter Vision. I'm Assad Bendian. As you may have noticed, we found someone to work the camera starting this game. Kiana Reinecker doing the duties. Appreciate you coming in to help out. I hope I got your last name right. If I messed it up, let me know. Daniel Labrador steps in. He doubled in the 4th, eventually scored on a throwing error by the catcher, who was trying to nail the second baseman, and the ball, actually he was trying to catch the runner at second, I should say. The throw got past the second baseman, ended up going into center, and Labrador took advantage to score from third. Labrador has reached both times. He's been at the dish, though. That double in the 4th, of course. He walked in the 2nd. The 1-0. And that misses outside. Eberle firing the first to keep Jacob Bullard honest. And with Bullard now reaching, the only Hatter starting tonight who is yet to get on board is Anthony DeFabia, actually. He who had the 3-hit outburst for the Hatters last night. One of the few bright spots offensively for Stetson, actually. The 1-1, and that one tagged up the middle. Another base hit. Bullard went up the middle. Now Labrador does the same.
The batting, the right fielder,
Juan Correa will step in. Walked in the 4th, eventually scored on Cam Hill's bases clearing RBI double. And just so you know, the 7 runs the Hatters have scored now in this game, the most they've scored all season. And we still got another 4 innings at least for the Hatters to go. Correa ducks out of the way, 1-0. Speaking with Coach Trimper before the game, he told me that the lineup juggling tonight was to try to see what he could find offensively to get this team going. Said he graded the team overall at about a C- with the way they've played lately. A grade he called unacceptable. The 1-0 as Correa backs out of the way. That ball was darted. Bullard moves up from third, and Columbia is actually lucky that wasn't worse. Eberle did a nice job keeping that in front of him. I could have easily moved up Daniel Labrador at first, but it does not. Eberle will call the signs here and try to get the line settled. As Correa steps back in. Defensively, Columbia willing to concede the run at third. Defense pretty much regular except for Tyler McGregor. He's trying to hold Labrador on at first. The 2-0. And Correa foul tips that. Correa hasn't seen a whole lot of action tonight in right field, which the Hatters are perfectly okay with. He is listed on the roster as an infielder, primarily first base. He has been getting some work in right field, though, in the case that his number gets called. Hasn't played a whole lot this season, but has been pretty good at the plate when he's been in the lineup. The 2-1 is fouled away just over the press box stands here in Melching. And Correa now looking at a 2-2 count. Labrador short lead at first, excuse me. Bullard at third, his lead is even shorter. The 2-2 is stroked hard into center. Solomon backing up, way over his head. It's off the Kluber banner. That's going to score. Bullard from third. Labrador hustling. Hill now be at third. Correa with an RBI double, and it is 8-1 Stetson. And looks like, at least for one night anyway, the Hatters have found a little bit of secret sauce offensively. 8 runs across already for Stetson. And number 8 for the Hatters will try that onto it. Anthony DeFabia, he's 0 for 1 tonight. Popped out to short in his first at bat in the second. Madrigal's pitch is high, 1-0. DeFabia's last at bat dropped a sac bunt right in front of home plate that moved the runners up. Nice sac bunt too, actually. But this time he'll be swinging. The 1-0 is popped up. Foul territory. Eberle's not going to have a play on this. And that is well out of play. No one in the stands is getting that ball. Sailed over our broadcast position, actually. Hatters have scored a run in each of the last 3 innings. The big one, of course, that 5 spot in the 4th. And they can certainly add on to it even more. The 1-1. DeFabia lays off. Hatters with 3 consecutive hits to start the 5th here. Single from Bullard, single from Labrador. The double from Correa, plating Bullard. Labrador now at third with Juan Correa at second. The 2-1. And DeFabia smokes it into left field. That's going to score Labrador for sure. It'll plate Correa also. DeFabia wants 2. Gets it head first. And it is 10-1 Stetson. So 4 consecutive hits for Stetson here in the 5th inning. 3 runs across. And that will bring up Banks Griffith.
Now batting, second baseman, Banks Griffith.
And we're going to see a visit to the mound here. I think that's going to be it for Madrigal. It is. Columbia goes to the pen once again. We'll let you know who that is when we come back. Hatters have already had a season high in runs tonight, and they're very close to getting double digits in the R column. Stetson 9, Columbia 1. You're watching Hatter Vision. Bottom of the 5th. Banks Griffith will look to add to the lead here for Stetson as we resume play with a new pitcher on the mound for Columbia. Number 37, Cameron Hubble, the junior righty from Westerville, Ohio, the only Ohio player on Columbia's roster, actually. Delivers the breaking pitch high to start us off here, 1-0. Griffith reached with a walk in the third, Cade in the fourth. Anthony DeFabia now at second, and he'll be running here as that ball gets past Anton Lazitz. And another run for Stetson. DeFabia's going to coast home as Banks Griffith with the third straight double in this inning for Stetson.
Now the catcher, Christian.
And the third straight RBI double on top of it all. So by my count, okay, correction here for you. The score is now 10-1 Stetson. We do have one out in this inning. In case I didn't mention it earlier, Juan Correa out at third with the Fabia's RBI double. And that one from Pregen is popped way high. Hage is there, and he'll make the catch. And that is now the second out in this inning. Here comes Camden Traficante, who is 0 for 1 in this game, but did reach his last time up on a walk. Every Hatter starter in this game has now reached. DeFabia was actually the last with his RBI double. And in case you're wondering why Correa didn't score, the umpires ruled that Correa actually missed third base. So that's where the first out came from. Traficante with another high popper. Solomon on the run in center. He'll make the grab. And that will do it for Stetson here. But the Hatters played another three. RBI double from Correa. RBI double from DeFabia. RBI double from Banks Griffith. Back to back to back. And it is now Hatters 10, Columbia 1, top of the sixth. Coming up on Hatter Vision. Jonathan Gonzalez back in for his sixth inning of work. The Hatter pen is finally stirring up a bit. So maybe Gonzalez won't go too much longer, but certainly been a solid start for him, and that will certainly certain solid contact there from Cole Haig, and that's over the wall. Haig with a solo bomb. Now makes it 10-2 Stetson. And that is now, by my count, 3 homers this weekend for Columbia. First pitch, and Solomon smokes it right past Jonathan Gonzalez. He actually folded onto the mound to avoid getting hit with that pitch, with that ball, I should say. And so Solomon working quickly, as did Cole Haig, to try to cut this deficit down for Columbia. Hayden Schott now steps in, the right fielder. He's got a single on the day. That came his last time up in the 4th, actually. And Gonzalez fires that one low and outside, 1-0. Gonzalez certainly with a much smoother outing so far than he had against Notre Dame, even though in many ways he was very hard luck in that particular game. Defense letting him down at various points. He pitched better than the line indicated, I'll leave it at that. Tonight, though, he's been pretty good. The 2-0 is hit between first and second. Banks Griffith will not get there. Haig stumbled. Excuse me, that was Solomon, actually. Solomon stumbled on his way around second. Otherwise, he probably ends up at third. But regardless, it's 3 straight hits here for the Lions as Weston Eberle steps in.
Now batting the catcher, Weston Eberle.
I guess trying to emulate Stetson and what they did in the bottom of the 5th. The Hatters getting 5 straight hits to open that bottom of the 5th. Singles from Bullard and Labrador. RBI doubles from Correa, DeFabia, and Griffith. Before Pregin and Traficante popped out to end the inning, Correa called out for not touching the bag at third on DeFabia's RBI double. Otherwise, it would have been a 2 RBI double for DeFabia. Eberle fouls off that first pitch, 0-1. He is 0 for 2 today. Ground outs to short and to third in the 2nd and the 4th innings. The ground out to third did drive in a run, though. Columbia's first in this game. The 0-1. And that's in for a strike. Gonzalez pulling the string on that breaking pitch. Jonathan Gonzalez with 5 Ks in this game. Oh, 0-2 count here. And that one is foul tipped. I think hit off the umpire's leg, too, which is why he went out there to hand that ball to Gonzalez. Corey Gottsegan calling the balls and strikes tonight. Probably needed to shake that one off a bit. Columbia getting their 2022 season off with a bang with their 8-3 win last night over Stetson. Tonight, the Hatters have flipped the script on them. 10-2 now in the top of the 6th. The 0-2. Strike 3 called! Third K looking into this game for Jonathan Gonzalez.
Ladies and gentlemen, we remind you, smoking and vaping are not permitted inside of Melching Field. Smoking and vaping are not permitted in our grounds for removal from this site of competition. Thank you for your cooperation.
Anton Lazitz will step in there, freshman third baseman, with a single in the 3rd. Popped out to left to end the 4th inning. And the freshman from Pittsfield, Massachusetts now with a chance to cut this lead down for his Columbia Lions. He's got Joshua Solomon at second, Hayden Schott at first. The 1-0. And Lazitz swings through that one. Caught a piece of it. Plenty of ASUN teams in action this evening. We'll give you a few updates when we get a chance here. 1-1. And that misses low. Two ASUN teams have already won their weekend series. Liberty Flames, 8-1 winners over Winthrop. Kennesaw State winning another close one to Fairfield, 6-5 today. That one hit right up the gut. Jonathan Gonzalez again having to duck out of the way of that comebacker. But that's now 4 hits in this 6th inning for Columbia, and the bases are loaded. Cole Haig starting off with a solo bomb. Singles from Solomon, Schott, and now Lazitz have loaded the bags for Griffin Palfrey.
Griffin Palfrey.
You've got Dominic Stagliano warming up for Stetson in the pen. First pitch to Palfrey's popped up right field. Juan Correa is there. Makes the grab. Runner from third tagging. The throw home is in time. But the tag is late. And Joshua Solomon scores.
And now the shortstop, Jacob Phelps.
And that's now 2 runs in this inning for Columbia. It is 10-3 Stetson. That was a very strong throw from Correa. Pregent almost got the tag in time. Runner's not moving up. So Schott still at second and Lazitz at first as Jacob Phelps steps in. The 0-1. Is a ball, so 1-1 the count now on Phelps, who is reached both times. He's been up this evening. Singled in the 3rd, reached on an error in the 5th, and this time, right past Traficante, who got a glove on it but wasn't able to corral it. That will plate another for Columbia. And the Lions are slowly cutting into this deficit as the run scores, and it's now 10-4. Hayden Schott coming in all the way from second.
For the first baseman, Tyler McGregor.
Anton Lazitz now all the way at third as Phelps gets his second single of the day and his first RBI. Back to the top of the order here in Tyler McGregor. And Gonzalez fires the strike. Actually, that's a ball, excuse me, 1-0. That one right at the letters, but not to the liking of Corey Kotzigan, the home plate ump. Eastern Kentucky also getting a win tonight in ASUN play. One of the newcomers to the conference. 7-6 winners over Ohio. Jacksonville falling to Troy, 5-3. That's weekend series now tied at 1. The Ospreys getting smoked by UConn, 11-0 final there. Lipscomb beat up big time by Pittsburgh today in the Music City College Classic in Nashville. 16-0 the final there. Long look at first for Gonzalez. The 2-0 in for the strike. McGregor in this game is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice to the first baseman. He K'd his last time in the 5th. Columbia's already gotten 3 back here. And that one hit to the mound. Gonzalez will underhand throw to first. They'll retire the side on that one.
3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base.
So Columbia gets 3 back here in the 6th inning after Stetson got 3 in the bottom of the 5th. The Hatters will try to stretch their lead again when we come back. It is Stetson 10, Columbia 4. You're watching Hatter Vision. Stetson's put up some crooked numbers in the last 3 innings. They'll try to add to that here as Cameron Hill, the leadoff hitter, will step in. Cameron Hubble delivers first pitch strike. Hill's had the big hit in this game for Stetson. Last time up in the 4th, bases loaded, 2 outs, full count. All he did was hit a bases clearing double. The 0-1 is fouled away. Backstop netting, 0-2. I'm sure making members of his family proud tonight, some of which are in the stands, actually. I had the chance to chat a bit with Cam's mom prior to the game. The 0-2. And Hill hits that between first and second. Give him his second hit in this game. And he'll have a chance to set the table here a little bit for Johan Dessereau. Hatters now with the same number of hits as runs, 10. Both of those season highs. The runs for sure, pretty sure the hits are also. Dessereau with 2 of those 10 hits. Both of them the RBI variety in the 3rd and in the 4th, respectively. The freshman's had himself a solid night and actually has been one of the better Hatter batters in general so far in this early portion of the season. Dessereau, one of 2 Canadians on this roster, both of them actually from Quebec. Hill stretching the lead, and that one fisted towards short. No play at second. The throw to first gets Dessereau.
Now batting, first baseman Jacob Bullard.
Jacob Phelps not even attempting to throw the ball to second to get Hill. And I think they, that right there is kind of a tacit way of showing respect for Hill's speed, I guess. They probably were not going to get the double play either way. Jacob Bullard, he's singled to lead off the 5th. That's his only hit tonight. Lays off the first pitch, 1-0. Cam Hill now on second. And Bullard again lays off. That time a strike. Jacob Bullard back in the lineup. It's been a stomach bug issue running through the Stetson locker room. Bullard was one of the players caught up in it, which is why he hasn't been starting recently. But speaking with Coach Trimper prior to the game, he mentioned to me that both him and Pregent pretty close to 100%, so they felt the need to get him back in the lineup as soon as possible. Still some other regulars for the Hatters who haven't been playing a whole heck of a lot. Brandon Hilton we saw for the first time last night as a pinch hitter. Slated to be the Hatters starting right fielder to open the season, but Hilton has pretty much been a non-factor. Kyle Ball, the normal starting shortstop for Stetson, also getting the night. Trey Harmon, who's been getting starts for Stetson, also getting the night. Both Ball and Harmon have been struggling pretty bad at the plate, though, so. Cam Hill staying close to the bag at second as Cameron Hubble steps off again. We are in the bottom of the sixth. Hatters 10, Lions 4. Hatters have scored runs in 3 straight innings. Bullard wants to make it 4. The 1-2, he swings right through it. Got to throw to first to complete the strikeout, as Eberle did not keep the ball in the glove. And with 2 outs, it's up to Daniel Labrador now.
The batting, the designated hitter, Daniel Labrador.
That is only the second K tonight by Columbia. Bullard and Griffith, the only K victims this evening. Daniel Labrador. He has reached every time he's been at the plate tonight. Lays off that off speed for strike 1. He walked in the second, doubled in the fourth, came around to score, singled in the fifth, came around to score. Labrador's been seeing time behind the plate. He's DHing tonight, though, as Pregent's back in the lineup. And Labrador hits that hard past the shortstop. Tripper's not hesitating. He'll send Cam Hill home. And that's another run for Stetson. Daniel Labrador with his first RBI of the night. And for the 4th straight inning, the Hatters played a run. It's now 11-4.
Now batting, the right fielder, Juan Correa.
And as you can tell from the PA system here, Ric Flair is getting quite the workout tonight. Juan Correa will step in. He had the RBI double his last time up in the 5th. Also walked in the 4th. Only time he's been retired tonight was in the 2nd on a 6-4-3 double play, which as of this moment is the only double play from Columbia in this ball game. No need for one here. They've got 2 outs on the board. The 1-0, and Correa lays off. The 2-0 is fouled away by Correa. Count now 2-1. We are past the 2-hour mark in this contest, 2 hours and 7 minutes to be precise. Hatters have scored all 11 of their runs from the 3rd inning on. And Correa now facing a 3-1 count. I think it's fair to say that Steve Trimper is going to be a lot happier with his offensive production tonight than he has been at any point this season, especially in the last 2 games. 4 runs total in the last 2. The 3-1, and Correa draws the walk.
Now batting left fielder Anthony DeFabia.
And here comes Anthony DeFabia, who stroked an RBI double his last time up in the 5th. Would have been 2, actually, had Juan Correa not missed the bag at third. Columbia coming around after the fact to step on the bag at third and get Correa out. DeFabia swings through the hard stuff there, 0-1. DeFabia's had himself a weekend. He's been hot. .455 batting average entering tonight, had 3 hits last night. The RBI double tonight. The 0-1, and DeFabia lays off. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. DeFabia, Stetson's only 2-way player, will pitch, and when he's not on the mound, he's usually in the outfield. In some way, shape, or form. He will DH on occasion, too. Doesn't really have a fixed spot in the outfield right now. The 1-1. Hit hard into left. That'll drop and give him another RBI at least. Labrador coming from second to score. Correa rounding third. He steps on the bag this time. The third of the plate is in time. And Correa's gunned down. And that will retire the side. But Anthony DeFabia, with another RBI double, the Hatters plate 2. We head to the top of the 7th with the Hatters holding an 8-run lead over Columbia. You're watching Hatter Vision. Andy Blake will lead us off here for Columbia in the top of the 7th. Hatters, 12 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, 4-9 and 2 for Columbia, respectively. Thank you for spending your Saturday night with us here via Hatter Vision on YouTube. I'm Assad Bendian. Kana Reinecker working the lens for us this evening. In a game where the Hatters have exploded offensively, especially compared to their 4 other games this year. The 12 runs a season high, the 12 hits a season high. Columbia managing to scratch back 3 runs in the 6th inning. Jonathan Gonzalez now lifted from the game. He's looking at the win as Dominic Stagliano takes the bump. And the 2-0 from Blake is a real high can of corn gathered up by Anthony DeFabio.
Now batting the left fielder, Cole Haig.
And now Cole Haig will step in. He got the party started for CU in the 6th with his solo shot. Very first pitch he saw. Also singled in the 4th. Haig getting the his first start of the season. First pitch for him. Slow roller to third. Dessereau is there. Nice job from Bowler to pick that ball off the dirt for out number 2. So Haig thought first pitch would be a good route again. This time not working out for him. And Joshua Solomon steps in with 2 quick outs here. He is 1 for 3, the senior center fielder. And Stagliano misses outside, 1-0. Solomon is one of the team captains. And that's popped up into right field. Juan Correa drifting to the track, to the wall. Makes the snag in front of the ImageWorks banner. And a quick 1-2-3 for Dominic Stagliano in the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch. And following that stretch, the Hatters will try to stretch their lead. They're up by 8 over Columbia, 12-4. You're watching Hatter Vision. Bottom of the 7th, Hatters up 12-4 over Columbia. 7-8-9 here for Steve Trimper's squad as they look to keep the bats going here. Unless Columbia turns this around in a big way, looks like we're heading for a Sunday rubber match between both sides. The 0-1 is hit by Griffith, but down to third baseline foul. So now 0-2 for the junior second sacker. RBI double in the 5th. Cade in the 4th, walked, and then scored a run in the 3rd. That's what he's done this evening. The Hatter lineup, by and large, very productive. The 0-2 is hit into left center. Solomon on the run, makes the grab. Nice play there from Columbia's center fielder for the first out here in the 8th inning. In the 7th, excuse me. Christian Pregent will step in. Still looking for his first hit tonight. He has reached, though, plunked in the 4th. Eventually scored. One of 5 runs for the Hatters in that bottom of the 4th. He was one of the 3 who came in on Cam Hill's bases clearing RBI double. The 1-0. And that is Pregent's first hit of the game. Single right up the gut. We've seen a lot of that tonight, actually. Not just from Stetson, Columbia too. They've had quite a few comebackers that have gone past the pitcher and into center field. Cameron Hubble, like Dominic Stagliano for Stetson, both wearing number 37 on their back. Camden Traficante will step in. He's also looking for hit number 1 tonight. Reached on a walk in the 4th, eventually scored. Lays off that one, though. 1-0. The Sunday contest tomorrow, scheduled for 1 o'clock right here in Melching Field. We'll have it for you on Hatter Vision. Pretty much every home game for Stetson moving forward will be on Hatter Vision for the foreseeable future. Traficante now down 2-0. We won't have another ESPN Plus broadcast until conference play. Hatters opening A-Sun play March 18th against Florida Gulf Coast. The 2-0, check swing. And that's in for the strike. We got a lot of baseball between now and then, though. Hatters starting this year with a 7-game homestand. And then going on the road down the world's worst highway to visit UCF. And then once they come back off the world's worst highway, they've got 15 more here at home. And that's now a 3-1 count on Traficante. And I know we have a lot of Lion fans who are probably watching the broadcast tonight, so I'll need to explain to you that when I say the world's worst highway, I mean Interstate 4. And I don't even think that's like a debatable fact. Anybody in Central Florida can tell you. 3-1 is hit hard into center. Solomon. He won't have to do nearly as much running this time to snag that one. And that's 2 outs.
The batting center fielder, Cameron Hill.
Back to the leadoff spot here for Stetson, Cam Hill. Coming up the bat for the 5th time tonight. He is 2 for 3. The big one, of course, the 3 RBI double in the 4th. Singled in the 6th, scored a run. Walked in the 3rd, eventually scored on a throwing error. The only time he's been retired tonight was actually in the 1st when he grounded out to the pitcher. And even that one was very debatable. Throw over to 1st. Very close play at the bag there, actually, that Steve Trimper argued, coming all the way across the diamond to make his case to Andy Schultz at 1st. We haven't seen Trimper complain too much to the men in blue since, though. And Hill swings through that 1-0-1. Hatters up 8 here 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Hill drops the bunt. Right in front of the mound, though. Hubble. This play, no argument from Stetson. Side retired.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors.
So the Hatters, for the first time since the 2nd inning, do not put up any runs, but they still hold a commanding 8-run lead. Top of the 8th. Coming up, you're watching Hatter Vision.
Number 5, Connor Keel. And leading off the top of the 8th inning, the right fielder, Hayden Schott.
So we begin the top of the 8th here with a defensive sub for Stetson. Anthony DeFabia has been replaced by Connor Keel in left. And Hayden Schott will begin this inning for Columbia with a single. That is their 10th hit in this game.
Now batting the catcher, Weston Eberly.
No other substitutions for Stetson. Although I wouldn't be surprised if you see a couple of pinch hitters come up for Stetson in the 8th. Maybe get some bench guys a little work, depending, of course, on how Stagliano does here. Stagliano needed only 6 pitches to get out of the 7th. Schott now with 3 consecutive singles in this game, 4th, 6th, and now 8th innings for him. He would score in the 6th. And Eberly lays off there, 2-0. Eberly, on the other hand, he's still looking for his first hit tonight. 2 groundouts. Backward K in the 6th. Did drive in an RBI, though, in the 4th with his ground out the 3rd. And goes swinging at that one for strike 1. Dominic Stagliano, a freshman from Boynton Beach. 6'2", 184 is how he stands. Dominic is actually his middle name, not his first. The 2-1. That's a strike. His first name is Ilario, but he goes by Dominic. Two count here on Eberly. Lays off, full count. And by my count here, that is the first time all night that a Lion has drawn the count full. Hatters have not issued a walk. And Stagliano hasn't done it yet. Eberly does foul that off, though, so we're going to see at least one more pitch. Hatters are down a few pitchers due to the stomach bug that's going through the team right now, but relief pitcher-wise, still quite a few options according to Steve Trimper. Something tells me they'll ride Stagliano out unless he gets into trouble. And Eberle, again, reaching out to tap that one foul. We've not seen Rashesh Pandya at any point this weekend, but in his only appearance this year, he pitched very well, holding Notre Dame in check for the final 3 innings of that contest, which the Hatters lost 5-3. The payoff, and Eberle's down swinging. Second time tonight he goes down by K, and give Hatter pitching 7 punch-outs. Anton Lazitz will step in here with 1 out on the board. Hatters well on their way to their 3rd victory of the season. Get the record back at 500, and if they manage to do that, they'll have the shot to end February with a winning record should they beat Columbia tomorrow. 1 o'clock first pitch here on Hatter Vision. Stagliano fires the strike. March for the Hatters, we'll see 18 games, 12 of them at home, 6 of them away. But 5 of those 6 away games will be the final 5 of that month, as Anton Lazitz swings through that one, strike 2. Remaining on the home schedule for Stetson, Sacred Heart, Bethune-Cookman. They're going to face Sacred Heart 3 times, BCU once. The 0-2, and Stagliano fires high. Then they'll be facing Florida A&M for a 3-game weekend set. The Maine Black Bears for 2 midweek games. And then comes ASUN play against Florida Gulf Coast. The 1-2. And that's fouled away by Lazitz. Gulf Coast will be the final home series in March for the Hatters. They'll head to the road after that, taking on James Madison. And that's a road game. Midweek, that one on March 23rd, as Lazitz taps that one foul down the third base line again. That game, a marriage of convenience of sorts, really, for Stetson, as they're going to be going up that weekend anyway to Virginia to take on the Liberty Flames. 3-game weekend series there. And then back to Florida. Well, they'll be taking the ride down 92 to Daytona to visit Bethune-Cookman. The 1-2, again fouled away by Lazitz. Columbia, the only Ivy League team that the Hatters will see this year, or at least scheduled anyway. Usually the Hatters play at least one of the Ivies, if not multiple. The 1-2 again. Appeal to first is denied, so the count now 2-2. Stetson usually has pretty good success on the diamond against the Ivies. There's only one school of the Ancient Eight who they have a losing record against, and that one is Dartmouth. Lazitz smokes that one into left. Keel on the run. That's off the ASUN banner. Runners will hold at second and third. Lazitz with a double. Shot now 90 feet away from scoring, as Columbia is not saying die just yet. Griffin Palfrey will step in. So give Lazitz 3 hits tonight. 2 singles and now that double. Lazitz now with 5 hits on the weekend. He certainly had himself a heck of a start offensively. Columbia showing they can swing the metal pretty good in this early portion of the season. Kind of surprising, I guess, when you consider that this Lions baseball team Hadn't played a competitive game of baseball in nearly 2 years. Sat out all of 2021 because of the COVID pandemic. None of the Ivies competed. And then 2020, of course, ending Columbia's season early like everyone else's on the planet. In their case, after only 8 games. The 2-0. Palfrey ducks out of the way of that one. Count now 3-0. Palfrey in this game is 0 for 3. A line out, a ground out, a pop out. The pop out in the 6th did drive in a run, though. Stagliano looking to get out of this inning. Does get the strike call there. He only needed 6 pitches to get out of the 7th. He's needed slightly more so far. By my count, he's already at pitch. He's already thrown 18. The 3-1. Hit right up the middle. Gathered up by Griffith. The throw to second does get Palfrey. The run scores from third, though. Shot crossing for his second run of the night. And Columbia cuts the lead. It's now 12-5. So Palfrey with another RBI to his credit. And Jacob Phelps will step in. These 3 games against Stetson, the only games that Columbia will play in the month of February. As Phelps swings through that one for strike 1. They've got a lot of road games coming up. Columbia playing their first 15 of the year on the road. As Stagliano dirts that one. 1-1 now on Phelps. He's got 2 singles to his credit in the 3rd and in the 6th. The 6th drove in a run. Also reached on a error from Desero in the 5th. So Phelps actually has not been retired tonight. Count now 1-2. Columbia is going to have to do a lot of travel before they play their first home game. Count now 2-2 on Phelps. After this 3-game set against Stetson, they'll be heading to North Carolina, play a 4-game set against the Davidson Wildcats, including a scheduled doubleheader on Saturday. As Phelps goes down. Columbia does get a run back, but the Hatters still hold a 7-run lead, and they'll have the chance to add to it in the bottom of the 8th. Coming up, you're watching Hatter Vision. Unless Columbia comes back in a big way here in the top of the ninth, we're likely looking at the final at-bats for the Hatters this evening right now. 2, 3, and 4 for Trimper's squad. Dessereau, Bullard, and Labrador all due up. Hatters with season highs in runs and hits. Dessereau has certainly done his part this evening. He's got 2 RBI singles in the third and in the fourth, respectively. 2 for 4 officially on this evening. New pitcher on the mound for Columbia. Justin Tucker, number 36, with his first action of the season. Junior right-hander from Renton, Washington. Dessereau on his knees. He appealed to third. And John Bennett says he didn't go, so 2-1. Dessereau lays off the 2-1, and now he's looking at a 3-1 count. Hatter coaches prior to the season expecting big things from Dessereau at the plate. He's certainly not disappointed. 6 hits so far in this young season. And that one fouled away towards the VFW parking lot off of left field. Full count now for Dessereau. And even when Dessereau's been retired, a lot of times they're loud outs. Balls hit well, just happen to find gloves. Here's your payoff. And Dessereau again fouls it out of play. One more time with the payoff here. And that one bounced towards second. Charging his Palfrey. The throw to first in time.
The batting, first baseman, Jacob Bullard.
So, 1 out on the board here. Jacob Bullard steps in. His return to the lineup. 1 for 4 this evening. Singled to start the 5th, eventually scored. The Hatters putting up 3 runs in that frame. Although really it was the 5 runs in the 4th that kind of set the tone. Columbia has certainly done their part to try to get back in the game, though. They've definitely not gone quietly into the night, as it were. 0-1 the count here on Bullard. Who, like much of the team, dealing with a stomach bug issue. In his case, sidelined him for a few games. Trey Harmon was taking the spot over at first, and it's Harmon now who hit the bench. May not be available tomorrow. The Kentucky transfer having a very rough start to the season. The 1-1 has popped up and out of play. Speaking with Coach Trimper prior to the game, though, he told me that they're going to do their best to get Trey Harmon going. He's a bat that Trimper feels this team needs. And he's practiced well, according to Coach, so he'll probably get another shot at some point. 2-2 to count now on Bullard. Maybe not this weekend, but it's a long season. Lots of things can happen. The first base job is rather crowded right now, though, as is DH for that matter. Daniel Labrador, speaking of DHs, he's on deck. The 2-2. And Bullard down swinging.
The batting and designated hitter, Daniel Labrador.
That is the 3rd K from Lions pitching tonight. Bullard's gone down twice by K. And now comes Daniel Labrador, who is yet to be retired this evening. He is 3 for 3. Walked in the 2nd. Double in the 4th. Scored a run. Single in the 5th. Scored a run. Single in the 6th. It was an RBI, and he scored a run. So he may be DHing, but he certainly spent a lot of time on the field just with the at-bats. Labrador getting his crack in the starting lineup with Pregent going out. And Labrador was certainly one of the better hitters last night for Stetson, had 2 hits. So give him 5 hits on this weekend. As Tucker dirts that one, 2-0. One of the 2 hits for Labrador last night was a homer. His first of the season, and as of this moment, the only homer for Stetson in this young season. And the count now 3-1 on Labrador. Tucker will deliver the 3-1, and Labrador with a high popper in the center. Joshua Solomon will grab it. And side retired here. Hatters go down in order. And we head to the top of the 9th. And the job is simple for Stetson. Make sure Columbia doesn't score 7 runs here on the top of the 9th. And they walk away with their 3rd win of the year. You're watching Hatter Vision. We're going to see a pinch hitter here for Columbia as we begin the top of the 9th. Cooper will bat for Andy Blake here. Actually, excuse me, he's going to bat for Tyler McGregor, the leadoff hitter. Cooper getting his first cracks in this young season. And he'll face off against another player making their season debut on the mound. And not the best start for Dylan Haynes as Cooper reaches on what I imagine will be a single. Cooper, listed as a catcher on the roster, 6'1", 210, from Edwardsville, Illinois. The only Illinois player on the roster for Columbia. And Austin Mowry will now step in as another pinch hitter here for Columbia. as the Lions try to work their way back here, trailing by 7. Maury, a senior from Tustin, California. First pitch swinging for him is also hit into left field. So, that's the first single in this inning. Score ruling that Cooper reached on a fielding error from Johan Desero. So gives Stetson their second error of the night. Cooper now at second. And Maury now at first as Cole Hage will step in. And the Lions not wasting any time here. They're going hard after the first pitch. Dylan Haynes will deliver, and once again, Lions going after the first pitch as Hage fouls it off. Dylan Haynes wears number 51 on his back. Freshman lefty, 5'8", 178 is how he stands. Hails from, in my opinion, one of the coolest cities on the planet. The 0-1. That's in for the strike. 0-2 now on Hage. And by that, I am referring to St. Augustine, or as the locals like to call it, St. Aug. If you've never been there, highly recommend. Especially if you like history. Tons of it in St. Aug. Haig hits that one hard in the left field. Backing up his keel to the track to the wall. He climbed the fence, but he's not able to bring it back. And all of a sudden, Columbia's made this interesting. Haig with his second homer of the night, a 3-run bomb. And it is now 12-8 Stetson. And with no outs on the board, too. Joshua Solomon will step in. Definitely a rough start for Dylan Haynes in his Stetson debut. Played his high school ball in a couple of spots in the Jacksonville area. St. Aug not too far from Jax, actually, as Solomon fouls that away. St. Aug maybe about an hour south of Jacksonville. Haynes playing his first 2 years at Ponte Vedra High and then migrated over his junior and senior year to the Episcopal School of Jacksonville. And Haynes missing outside with the breaker, 1-1. Was 2 times the team MVP at Episcopal. Very good numbers his senior year. 8-2 record with a 1.36 ERA. Had over 100 Ks in just over 60 innings pitched, so he could definitely rack him up quickly. Pretty good strikeout to walk ratio, too. 107 Ks versus 35 walks his senior year. Wasn't too bad with the bat either. He batted almost 400. Although at Stetson, he'll be asked to be a pitcher primarily. He is one of 6 lefty pitchers on the roster for Stetson. And he gets his first K as a Hatter. Joshua Solomon down, swinging. And with 1 out on the board now, it's Hayden Schott who steps in. There are arms warming up in the pen for Stetson. Should Haynes get into any more trouble. Tanner Martin, Stetson's closer, is warming up here. 4-run lead, so technically, I believe this would be a save situation for Stetson if Martin were to come in. Not for Haynes, though. The 1-0 is a weak dribbler down the third base line. Count now 1-1 on Schott. And he's had himself a pretty good night. 3 for 4. All of them singles in the 4th, and the 6th, and in the 8th. Schott also had 2 hits last night, so he's certainly been among the hotter Columbia bats. As Haynes paints the inside part in for a strike with that breaker, 1-2. Haynes trying to shut the door here. And the breaking pitch inside misses. 2-2. Some of the Hatter fans, you can hear the chanting. The 2-2. And that's fouled out the top of the backstop netting. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for Weston Eberle. The 2-2, and shot is down by K. So Dylan Haynes with 2 Ks in a row. And the last hope for Columbia here is Alex Kryloff. Listed as a catcher on the roster, 6'1", 195 from Newton, Massachusetts.
Pitch hitting in the number 6 position for catcher Weston Eberle, number 24, Alex Kryloff.
Kryloff is a junior.
Pitch hits, number 6.
Getting his first action of the season here. This Columbia team going to road warrior hard to begin the season. After this 3-game set against Stetson, they're going to play Fort Davidson in North Carolina. Then they head to Texas, where they're going to be facing off against Baylor. And then a quick trip across state lines for them to play McNeese State, then Incarnate Word, and then the Houston Cougars. And all that before their first home game of the year, March 23rd against Manhattan. The 3-0 from Haynes is in for the strike. And from that point on for the Ivies, it's usually conference play, and for Columbia, no different. They do have a couple of non-conference games sprinkled in, though. That one tagged towards second. This should end it. The throw to first in time. And the Hatters get their 3rd win of the season. It got a little hairy in the end for Dylan Haynes, but after giving up a 3-run bomb, he retires the Lions 1-2-3 from that point forward. Hatters with season highs in runs and hits, 12 runs and 13 hits respectively. 2 errors for the Hatters as well as for the Lions. The Lions also had 13 hits, but the 8 runs for them just falling short, as both teams have now won 1 game this weekend. The series winner will be decided right here at Melching tomorrow. First pitch at 1 o'clock. We'll be happy to bring you that here on Hatter Vision. And let's see if Stetson can keep this offensive production going. It's been a struggle for them this year to find runs. They exploded in a big way tonight, though, getting 2 runs early in the 3rd inning. The big one, a 5-spot in the 4th. Cam Hill with the big hit. Bases clearing RBI double that plated 3. Cam Hill with 2 hits on the night. Johan Desero with a couple of RBIs. Daniel Labrador with 3 hits and an RBI. Juan Correa with an RBI double. Anthony DeFabio with 2 RBIs. Banks Griffith also with an RBI double. I think the kind of reaction that Stetson coaches were hoping for after a tough loss to the Lions on Friday night. So we'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Cole Stallings expected to get the ball for the Hatters in Game 3. For the Lions, they plan to trot out Billy Black. So until then, for everyone here at Hatter Vision, our thanks to Kiana Reinecker for working the camera this evening. I'm Assad Bendy on Final Score, Hatters 12, Lions 8. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. first pitch right here on Hatter Vision. Until then, have a good night.